Welcome to our hotel room and welcome to January 2025's episode of Sea Logs. My name's Sean, that's Kat, and once a month, the last Sunday of every month, we post this podcast. And if you're new to this podcast, the way it works is this. We start with any relevant Royal Caribbean news. Then we have the theme for the podcast. And today we're going to talk about Voyager Class ships and what we like or don't like about them. And then at the end, we answer your questions. And today we're starting something new. So if you've never been here before, in the middle of this, probably in the middle of our theme, we're going to give you a tour of our hotel room that we're in right now. And what we're going to do in the future is every podcast, we will re-show you our hotel room and you can win one of our Caribbean journals if you figure out what's different about the room. So obviously there's probably going to be more than one person that figures that out, but we'll open it up for a certain amount of time. And those people that send the correct answer in that amount of time period will randomly pick one of them and they'll win one of our Caribbean journals. Yeah. All right. So what I'm going to do for the news is I have it on my display here. I'm going to read the news story and then we'll talk about it a little bit because it's really surprising, some of the news, and it's not all good this time. So, all right. The first thing, and I love this because we actually own shares of Royal Caribbean. And the sad thing is we bought our shares right when COVID hit, when it was super low.
Diving.
Yeah. I mean, I think it was like $30 or something a share. And when we moved on to our sailboat, we didn't want to have to deal with individual stocks, so we sold it.
Dumb.
Yeah.
We did a lot of dumb things.
Yeah, we did. And then when we sold our sailboat and came back to reality, we bought it again. But this time we bought it, I think, at 70 something a share. Well, as of today, it is at $232. And this month, Royal Caribbean's stock experienced a, quote, notable increase after JP Morgan raised its price target from $253 to $295 a share. And right now it's at $232. So that's, yeah, that'll pay for a cruise. For those of you who don't know,
to cash those in to be able to use.
Yeah, no, I mean, but yeah, that's true.
And we're not.
For those of you who don't know, it is real expensive to do this now, and we are in no way offering financial advice. But if you, don't listen to us.
Yeah.
If you own 100 shares of Royal Caribbean stock, you actually get a shareholder benefit of onboard credit on all the cruise lines Royal Caribbean owns. So for us, that's Royal Caribbean and Celebrity. And for a 7-day cruise, you basically get $100. And so every time we go on a cruise, and we go on 6-7 cruises a year, and they're not all 1 week. Several of them are usually longer than that. The longer the cruise, the more money you get. If it's over, I think 14 days, don't quote me on that, but you get $250. So that adds up, especially a 7-day cruise, $100. And all you do is when you are 3 weeks out, you send a copy of proof that you own 100 shares of Royal Caribbean stock. And you just give them your cruise information and poof, like within 2 days, you'll get your onboard credit. I actually got mine. I'm going on Icon in end of February. She's going to be up in Canada, and I put in for it yesterday and I already got it. So 1 day. It's amazing. And it definitely pays for the alcohol that we drink over and above and beyond the diamond drinks. We have a question similar to that we'll talk about in a second. Okay, now here's a fun one. 19 passengers, including 4 minors, have filed a lawsuit against Royal Caribbean and one of their former employees for placing hidden cameras in guest rooms aboard Symphony of the Seas. You never went on Symphony, right?
I don't
No,
know.
no, you didn't. That was Harmony that we.
Oh,
So
right.
Symphony, I went on Symphony with a couple friends, and we went down to Aruba and Curacao. That was that cruise, and yeah. So you're not going to find Cat in any of the those.
Not in the Royal Caribbean sense.
Yeah, you won't find her. You might see me. So believe me, run away. And the person that actually put these cameras in was sentenced to 30 years in federal prison for child pornography. And the lawsuit that they're suing Royal Caribbean for says that Royal Caribbean failed to provide
Adequate safety
to prevent incidents like
monitoring.
basically they didn't do their due diligence to prevent that from
I don't
happening.
know how you could
Yeah,
know.
I don't know how you
Because
could do that either.
there's no cameras in your room to monitor the
Yeah,
employees.
we need to get one of those little things that you go like
Yeah.
this and look around. Okay, next. This came up. They just had a Royal Caribbean had like a Zoom call yesterday, and this came up. I know it's not new news, but for us, this is great. So if you're going to Nassau in the Bahamas, which is Paradise Island, Royal Caribbean is expanding, as we talked about in the past, to they're opening up new private destinations, and they talked about their plans for the Royal Beach Club on Paradise Island, which is set to open in December of 2025. And if you've ever been in to the Bahamas and by Atlantis and that area, when the cruise ship is docked, there's this little itty bitty stretch of land that's like an island that is between the cruise ships and the ocean. That's where it's going to be. And I've seen drawings of what it's going to look like. It's going to look absolutely amazing. Okay. And the last thing is on January 9th, during a sea day on a 4-night cruise, it's a Bahama cruise. Liberty of the Seas actually ran into this huge storm, and they were fine, but there was actually a fishing boat that was nearby them that lost its engine and issued a SOS call. And Liberty of the Seas supported the Coast Guard in rescuing them.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is pretty cool. We're actually I know most people when they go on cruises, I don't know how you feel about this. When they go on cruises, the last thing they want is to have big waves. And when we crossed the Atlantic, I was hoping I probably would have gotten sick, but I was hoping for the bigger waves.
Yeah,
We
I
didn't
was
really get any.
expecting it
Yeah.
actually, and they weren't that bad.
No, they weren't bad at all.
I was
However,
thinking, yo,
the
it
big
didn't
wave.
happen.
If you have seen some of the cruise ships where, like, especially the cabins that have ocean views, so the window is low. When we were on our Alaska, the last Alaska cruise we went on, the waves actually it didn't go right on our window, but at a distance they went up and above. And I've seen videos online where the waves, you're sitting there and all of a sudden, you're looking out in the water, it's like a fish swimming by. But we're going to Antarctica in January on a celebrity cruise.
I'm sure that'll be warm.
Huh?
I'm thinking that's going to be pretty warm.
Yeah, pretty warm. However, hopefully, when we go from the tip of South America to Antarctica, we'll have some huge waves there.
Oh.
I'll probably regret it once that actually happens because I'll be vomiting. But anyhow. All right. So what we're going to do now is we're going to talk about, we wanted to talk a little bit about the Voyager class ships. So there's 5 of them: Voyager, Explorer, Adventure, Navigator, and Mariner. And we together, or me by myself, actually, we've been on all of these. We've been on Voyager, Adventure, and Navigator. We haven't been on Explorer or Mariner yet. But what I wanted to do is talk a little bit about talk a little bit about what we like about those ships and what we don't like about those ships. So why don't you go first? And
I do like that they don't seem as busy as the bigger ships. Maybe it's just me. I don't know. The big ship seems that big ships you gotta walk and walk and walk to get anywhere.
right.
It's crazy.
Well, what was
I
really
mean,
cool.
not that I don't need it, but
Yeah, we just got off of Navigator of the Seas, which, by the way, next week, well, depending on when you're watching this, but as of recording next week, we will be doing our live that we do. And we were going to do that from Navigator because this time the internet was actually, the speed of the internet was fantastic. And it worked pretty well until the last day, which is when we were going to do our live. And the speed was fine, but it just kept dying.
yeah.
You had to, it would just, and no internet. And you had to log back in and turn it back on, which, you can't do that for a live video. But we're on Navigator, and what we did is the Voyager class ships have a bulge or a bump that comes out in the middle of the ship, and we got the center cabin balcony on the bulge. And what's nice about that is if you lean out over the railing and look right and left, you can actually look back onto the ship because
You're
it's
out.
it's right there. Yeah, and it's fantastic. So love that. And what we did is if you're on the bulge, when you come up the elevators, you basically walk to the hallway where all the cabins are, and your cabin is right there.
Yeah.
We walked through the door to get into that hallway, and we turned 1 foot to the left, and our door was right there. It was,
Yeah, that was pretty good.
yeah, that was ideal. I love that. Now, obviously, you could make your cabin be by the elevator on any ship. But the bulge thing, the views on that, outstanding. So if you're going to go on a Voyager class ship, try to get on the bulge if you can. And we wanted to go one deck higher so that we're exactly halfway between the Royal Promenade and the Windjammer, that deck. But that was sold out when we booked it. But if you book it far enough in advance, you should be able to get on it because outstanding rooms if you're going to get a balcony. What I like about the Navigator class ships, Voyager class ships, sorry, is it does have a Royal Promenade, and it has a Studio B ice skating show, which is great. And like Kat said, it's like you get the big ship vibe without gazillions of people running around.
Yeah. There seemed to be a lot of teenagers on the last.
Oh,
the last
teenagers,
one.
kids.
Well, young. I would say more between the age of 9 and 15. There seemed to be quite a few for some reason. And we seemed to be next to all of them because they were running around, up and down the hall,
Yeah,
screaming
didn't you
at
feel
each
old
other.
when we were in bed and they were all running
Like,
around?
hello, it's 10 o'clock.
Yeah, we're old. We go to bed early. And yeah, the problem is when you're like us and we're coffee addicts, you like wake up in the morning and you're like salivating for coffee. So you want to get up early just so you can go have a coffee.
Not
But
me, but you do.
yeah, me. Anyhow, uh, depending on the Voyager class ship you're on, though, the one of the things I don't like about the smaller ships is the selection of specialty dining restaurants. But on Navigator that we were just on, there was a Hooked,
There was a
which
lot.
we went to, and there was a Jamie's. So you don't get the standard chops and Giovanni's. And there was the chops on there, obviously, but you don't get. It's not the two generic ones you typically get on a lot of the older ships, which was really nice on Navigator. But so it varies a little bit. And then the other thing that I really like is you can go up on where the helicopters land. Now, if you've never been on a Voyager class ship, the helicopter pad is on deck 5, but you get to it by deck 4. So when you're in the Royal Promenade, you go down one deck and you go outside, and there's a walkway that basically goes all the way to the end of the boat and around and up the other side. And in the forward of the boat, there's a ship, sorry, there's stairs that go up to deck 5, which will then take you to the helicopter pad. And some of the views up there are outstanding when you're coming in and out of port. I love that.
Yeah. Yeah, I do like these smaller ones. I do like the big ones just because it's novel,
Right.
but the smaller ones are, and I find the crew really friendly.
Yes, the crew is very friendly. And the other thing that's really nice, especially the real old ships, like not super old, but from Voyager class and older, it seems like there's a lot more places to sit and look out over the ocean. Even if there's indoors, like some of the older ships, you can be in like the champagne bar and sit there and just look out over the water.
Yeah.
Oasis class ships, it's almost, if you don't have a balcony that looks out over the water, it's almost the only place you can really look out over the water is if
Up on
you
deck.
go all the way up on the pool decks and look out. Yeah, there's some, like, for example, my hack for the Oasis class ships is I go back on deck, oh my goodness, the boardwalk where the aqua theater is, and I walk down the stairs to the running track, and in the very aft of the ship there are seats that you can sit in for sailaway. That's why, because there's no one there. A lot of times I'm the only person that's down there, but other than that there's like almost nothing. Any other last thoughts on that?
Can't think of anything.
Yeah, if you have any questions about the Voyager class ships, I'm sure we're missing something. Put it in the comments. We'll get back to you on that. All right, let's talk about how you can win one of our Caribbean travel journals. It's basically, we showed it on last time. It's on Amazon. I don't know what they're selling it for now. We don't make any money on it. We put it up at cost, so the price variation is all up to Amazon, but it's a way for you to keep track of all the islands you've gone to in the Caribbean. And it also includes spots in Mexico like Costa Maya or um, Cozumel, or obviously Cozumel's an island, but Costa Maya isn't. Any of the ports like that in Mexico that you typically stop at in a cruise, but you can also use it if you're not cruising. Like if you just happen to fly to Caribbean, down to the Caribbean a lot, you can use it for that. So what we're doing, as I mentioned in the beginning, I'm going to show you a tour of our room right now when I'm talking, and the hotel. And for those of you who missed it, Kat and I, we're commercial truck drivers. We drive for FedEx Ground, and we stay in this hotel room, or if it's booked, which it almost never is, one that looks identical to this. And what I'm going to do every single video from this point forward, I am going to put one thing in here that isn't in this tour that you're watching right now. And then if you find it, send an email to connect at third, that's 3RD Orbit Travelers. So all one word, thirdorbittravelers.com. Tell me what it was. And then 1 week later, everyone that gets it right, I will give each one of those emails a number based on the order in which they came in. And then I'll have my computer generate a random number out of those numbers. And then that person I'll send an email to. You send me an address where you want the book sent to, and I will have Amazon Prime send you the book. And cost you nothing, no shipping, no handling, nothing. It'd be nice if you subscribe to us if you haven't done that yet. But other than that, you'll get a free copy. And what we're going to do is we're going to change things up over the course of the year, because once you win something, you can't win it again. So you can't win our travel journal 5 times. So we'll do this for like half the year, and then we'll switch over. We do have an Alaska travel journal also. Maybe we'll switch over to that, or give something else away, one of our hats or something along those
Right.
lines. So that's what we're doing. All right, let's get on to our emails. So remember, we answer questions. So you ask the question, we answer it. You can either post questions and comments on our videos, and we have one of those today. Well, we have one that's actually a combination of like 4 or 5. Or you can send us an email at connect@thirdorbittravelers.com. And we'll alternate reading these. And do our best to answer. This first one is definitely going to be for Kat. This is from Mark and Lisa P. Hey, Sean and Kat, love your channel. Thank you. Your ship tours have been a hit with the kids. That's funny because there was this one person. Do you remember we got a comment? And the person that commented said that I think she listens to the walking tours because it puts her to sleep at night.
Nice.
Yeah, okay. We're cruising with our two children, ages 8 and 12. Soon. Can you share insights on the best onboard activities for kids and any tips to keep them entertained? Appreciate your help. Cheers, Mark and Lisa.
Well, they do have a kids club. I would let them join that because then they meet other kids their age. And they get to play all kinds of there was kids on the last cruise that we went on that came up to us. They were trading things.
Yeah, for
She
like a
had
scavenger hunt
yeah,
sort
it's
of
like a
thing.
scavenger hunt. They try to find different things to bring. I think they had a lot of fun on that cruise because they seem to be. But they do have arcade rooms.
They have depending on their age, they have for the younger ones, they do on a lot of the ships, they have splash areas for the
Yeah,
kids.
splash pads. They're kind of lame.
Well, the
They
kids
could do
love
better
them.
with that.
However, you have to sit out and watch the kids
Yeah,
the
it's
whole time.
hot. If you're in a sunny area, yeah, and you don't have a chair, you're screwed because it's beating down on you. But um, what else is there? They do have a few climbing things.
Yeah, so the
They
kids, they do have teen climbing. It's all
golf.
about
They have
it's
the
all about the
putting.
cutoff between basically the kids that can do adult like things have a lot more to do.
Yeah,
Like they can go rock climbing,
basketball.
they can
They
play
can
basketball, they can do on the Oasis class ships the ultimate abyss
slides.
slide,
Yeah,
they can do the water slides, they can do all that. The problem now, keep in mind when we take our grandkids on cruises, we don't put them in any of the like daycare facilities where Royal Caribbean entertains our grandkids because the whole point of us taking our grandkids is so we can see them. Our kids run away, but we take care of the grandkids. And that is actually much more challenging to entertain the kids
yeah, because you
because
only have your room.
yeah, you have your cabin and you have, it depends on the ships you're on. Now, obviously, the Icon is different, but the Oasis class ships, you basically have the carousel for the
Yeah,
young ones, and you have the splash pad.
that's
And
it.
that's pretty much it. I mean, we tried playing mini golf, but that's really horrible for the people behind you because, the kids are like, "Ugh," they're
Ah,
jumping up on the stuff and everything.
yeah,
But we have never actually used the daycare facilities on Royal Caribbean, but we've talked to teenagers and we've talked to parents, and they say they can't get their kids out of there because they love it
right.
so much. And you do see all the cool things they do with them with scavenger hunts and that trade up thing they were doing. The girl brought a cookie and she said, "If I give you this cookie, do you have something bigger? We have to trade up larger." And I don't carry anything. I had my phone. I wasn't going to give him my phone. Yeah, that's crazy. All right, here you could do this one. This one right here.
Hello, Sean and Kat. I'm considering a solo cruise with Royal Caribbean. Do you have any recommendations for solo travelers, particularly concerning dining and social activities? Sincerely, Rachel.
Yeah, so that's from Rachel M. I guess that's mine since you've never solo
No, I
cruised.
never, although I will be.
Although you will. Hey, no. So
But that,
we, what I always want to go on cruises. She has this thing about, I want to go visit the family. I tell family, hey, you want to see us? You come on a cruise with us. But I've been on quite a few uh, Royal Caribbean cruises by myself. Now, Royal Caribbean, correct me if I'm wrong, they might on some ship that I haven't seen, or they just might sell out, but they basically don't have solo cabins. So if you're traveling by yourself, uh, you're basically getting a regular cabin and you have to pay double unless you are, I think, Diamond Plus and up, you get a discount. However, that discount, we've never gotten it because if you go through a travel agent, chances are you're going to get a better discount anyway. So yeah. So in other words, you're paying double. Now you do get a slight discount because you don't have to pay taxes and port fees and stuff
And
like that.
tips.
And tips, yes, and the gratuities. I enjoy going by myself. It's, obviously I'd rather have Cat there, but when you go by yourself, you get double the crown and anchor points. And that's actually how we made it so high so quickly, is because about a quarter of the cruises we've been on, I went on by myself. And so you get double the points for, instead of on a 7-day cruise, instead of getting 7 points, you get 14 points. And if you stay in suites, which we never do, we're not saying they're not worth it for some people. We're never in our cabins. And for us, it's like the old Motel 6 commercials, right? When you close your eyes and you're sleeping, it doesn't matter what type of cabin you're in. They all look the same because you're looking at the back of your eyelids. Now, we do prefer balconies because it lightens the room up a little bit.
Yeah.
And especially fresh air. As long as it's not really hot out, we open our sliding glass door and let the wind blow in all night long. It's fantastic.
Yeah, the
Listen to
AC
the waves.
on this last boat ship we were on was insufficient.
Yeah, Navigator, the air conditioning in our room was, it didn't work. I mean, it worked. I know
Barely.
before people put in the comments, I know we have to have the door closed for it to work.
Yeah,
but
when it was closed.
First night we closed it and it was colder outside than it was in our cabin.
Yeah.
Yeah. What else? So dining. I am not a person that likes going and sitting in the main dining room with a bunch of people I don't know. And I like the Windjammer if I just want a snack, but I prefer to eat in the specialty dining restaurants. And what does that mean? That means you're sitting at a table by yourself.
Loser.
Yeah, loser. Yeah, that's me. And I'm going to the Empire Club on Icon. That's that one that's, I don't know, 200 and some odd bucks a person, by myself. That'll be fun. I never bring a suit anymore because we don't go to the chef's table anymore. And I got to bring it on Icon. Hope I don't forget, or I could show up like this. I don't think I should try that just to see what happens, because I don't think they'll kick me out. But anyway, yeah, if you don't mind sitting by yourself at dinner, or you're a person that likes going to the Windjammer or something, or get room service, then yeah, it's no big deal. And what else did she ask? She asked about social activities. Remember the part where I said I don't like sitting at tables with a bunch of people? Yeah, social activities for me.
There's a lot, though.
There's a lot.
The casino, you could go to, the shows, obviously, but they do have trivia things that you can. Bingo was fun.
It was very expensive.
It is expensive, but you're doing it once.
Yeah, so there are they have social activities for cruisers that are cruising by themselves. So if you're into meeting people that you've never met before, you can do that.
Yeah.
They have bingo. They do have trivia.
Karaoke.
They have karaoke on most of the ships. So there's a lot of things you can do to just to meet people. And it's crazy. If you go to, like, we went to the Women of Wine, is that what it was called? Which was wine tasting of wine that from women's wineries. Yeah. Be prepared to not be able to walk when you leave that. They give you so many glasses of wine, and like full glasses, not tastings like this, like full glasses.
Real.
And like, we met people there that we would run into and say hi to. And then even on excursions, like we went on this last cruise, we went on an excursion that wasn't a whale watching excursion, that turned out to be mostly whale watching, which was fine with us, which was awesome. And we had a whale, humpback whale, go right under our boat.
It looked like it was going to ram us.
Yeah, it looked like it was like Jaws on it. It was, it came right at us, went right underneath the little boat we were on. And that was fantastic. And again, there was a family that was right next to us, and we talked to them quite a few times on this ship. Actually gave their teenager, he doesn't want to go to college. He wants to go into some sort of a profession. and he was talking about like electrician or a plumber. And I suggested, I ran into him later on and suggested truck driving. And then he started asking me questions, and I talked to him probably for a half hour or so about truck driving. So yeah, there's a lot of ways to meet people on the ship if you're
Yeah.
by yourself. And again, if you're not opposed to sitting at a table with a bunch of people you don't know, go to the main dining room and tell them that you want to sit with other people,
Yeah.
and you'll have all sorts of people that you can talk to. Okay, the next one comes from Greg H, and the subject is packing recommendations. Hi, Kat and Sean. It was actually Sean and Kat. I was first. As a first-time cruiser, you're going to love it. Well, you're either going to love it or hate it. Most
Yeah.
people either are addicted to them or they can't stand them when they get off a cruise. And the sad thing is, they base that all on the itinerary and the ship that they were on for the first cruise. They won't even give it another chance if they don't like it. The different classes of ships are so much different from each other. The different cruise lines are so much different from each other, and the itineraries are so much
Yeah.
different from each other. You can't, I mean, you could absolutely love Royal Caribbean and get on a ship class that you don't like at an itinerary you don't like and have an absolute horrible time, and then take a cruise a week later on a different class of ship, a different itinerary, and absolutely love it.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry, digressed. Are there any commonly overlooked items that you would recommend bringing? Yes, magnet hooks.
Yeah. You hang up everything.
Yeah, so for me, magnet hooks. Get on Amazon. They're actually, I will put a link down below we have a cabin hack video. Everything that you need to know about bringing on a cruise, like hacks for your cabin and specialty things for your cabin, is in that video, including other tips as well. But my favorite are the magnetic hooks. Now, do not do what most people do. If you get on Amazon, there's going to be a ton of them, and a lot of them are going to be really cheap, and some of them are going to be more expensive. And the ones that are more expensive are stronger magnets. You want to get the strongest magnet you can get, because those magnets' strength are rated for how strong it is to pull straight off of something, not how much weight it will hold sliding like this. And that's the problem, because a lot of people, including some of our friends who have gone on trips with us, have bought weaker magnets, and they plop it on the wall and they hang something and it slowly drifts down the wall. So get the strongest ones you can, and you got to go real slow. Otherwise, your neighbor's going to hate you because you're going to clank, clank, clank. I hang everything. I hang our towels up. I hang our swim clothes up. Everything. Everything gets hung up because there's not enough storage on cruise ships. On the newer ones, on like Icon and the Oasis class ships, Quantum class ships, yeah, there's tons of storage. But in the older ships, not so much. And yeah. And just know so all the walls in your cabin are metal, all of them. They do have something over the top. So there is they're not quite as strong as they would be if you go out on your balcony and stick it directly on the metal. If you do that, they're a chore to get them off.
Yeah, I've done that. Hanging my bathing suit up to dry.
Yeah, so you can, throw them out there. But yes, so look at the link in the description and it'll send you to the cabin hack video. It's outstanding. Has tons of stuff that you can learn about how to deal with your room stored, how to get some free alcohol, stuff like that, and cool things to bring with you. All right, next one. This is the last direct email.
Dining dilemmas. Sophie L. Hi, Sean and Kat. Your specialty dining reviews are fantastic.
Thank you.
Even with him chewing?
I don't chew anymore.
Okay.
I was told not to chew on video anymore, so I don't chew anymore. I go like this and it cuts before I start chewing.
I'm curious about making dining reservations. Is it better to book in advance or can we make them all on board? Any strategies to ensure we get to try all the must-visit restaurants? Thanks a bunch.
Okay. Me? You?
You.
Okay. Yeah, because I'm the one that always books these.
Yeah.
She's talking, I'm assuming that she's talking about specialty dining restaurants. Now, there are there's a couple different ways of doing this. You can get a dining package, and they are switching this over. I'm not sure. I don't get a dining package ever, but they're switching this over. They might have already done it. In the past, if you got the dining package, which means you can basically go to as many of the specialty dining restaurants as you wanted to, you can't book the times or your reservations until you get on the ship. They are changing that. Whether or not they've changed that yet, I don't know. They were supposed to do it, I think, by now, but again, we don't do that. So there are two options. Yes, you can book it once you're on the ship, or you can book it ahead of time. Now, there's some advantages to booking it ahead of time. Number one, they're almost always on sale. And what you do is you book it when it's on sale and just monitor the price. And if the price drops, cancel it, rebook it. You'll save yourself some money because they'll give you a free refund, no problem.
Right.
The other thing is, if you book it far enough in advance, you're guaranteed to get whatever time slot you want. So if you're like Kat and I, we don't like eating at 9 o'clock at night.
No.
We like eating around 5:36-ish. And we're guaranteed to get that if we book it, way in advance. So those are the two main. Oh, and there are some restaurants, like, for example, on Utopia, the railroad simulator restaurant, that if you don't book that ahead of time, you're never going to get in that thing. And okay, so advantages of booking it on board. What's that? Okay.
Alarm.
God. And we're back. So one of the things about being a commercial truck driver is we do our laundry here at the hotel, and our laundry is now done.
Mm-hmm.
But anyhow, one of the advantages of waiting to book it on the cruise ship, and I've talked about this in the past, and I'm not talking about waiting and then when you get on the ship, just going and booking it. I'm talking about if you're willing to risk not eating at a specialty dining restaurant to save some money or get some perks, then this is the way to do it. When you're on an actual cruise, especially if you hang out in the Royal Promenade on the ships that have it, or in any area that's pretty much enclosed as opposed to outdoors that a lot of people go to, you will frequently see one of the waiters or waitresses walking around with a menu from one of the specialty dining restaurants trying to get people to sign up. If they are doing that, that means they are not full and they want to be full. And don't just say, oh, I'll sign up and then sign up. It's the ideal time to get something for free or to get a discount. So what you do is say, hey, what restaurant are you trying to get people to make a reservation for? Oh, we're trying to get, Hooked. We're trying to get people to come to Hooked. Great. If I sign up, are you going to give me a discount or give me something else? And they always say yes. Usually get like 20% off or something. Now, that is not as much as you would get off in the beginning. However, some of the restaurants will actually give you like free lobster that they don't normally have on their menu. Or if it is on their menu, they have an upcharge for that. So ideally, you should book it ahead of time. It's the cheapest it's going to be. But if you wait, you can sometimes get maybe two of you. We've never done that. I've never pushed that hard, but two of you for the price of one. But you'll definitely get something, especially if you push them. And if they're really desperate, like if there's no one in the restaurant, they will do whatever it takes to fill those seats. All right, last one. And this one isn't so much, this isn't a question from one individual, but over this course of this month, we've gotten three or four comments on our Let's Cruise videos about the music and where we get our music from. And no, this isn't a pitch because it wouldn't cost you anything. About 50% of our music we use in the videos comes from Epidemic Sound. And that's basically a web page that creators use so that we can use music without getting copyright claims. That's not a place that you could go. There would be no reason unless you're a creator to pay the fee for that so that you can get their music. The other 50% and the ones that we get the emails on all the time are actually AI generated music from Suno, Suno.com. I believe they have a free version. We have a paid version because you have to have a paid version in order to use them commercially. But yeah, you can make your own music. Now, it is a lot harder than it sounds. For every one good song that I get that's actually usable, I probably generated 50 songs that there's no way I could use. You just tell it what you're looking for. I'm looking for folk music, guitar based, female singer about two travelers sailing on the ocean. You push a button and do that 50 times, and then you're going to get a halfway decent song. So that's where all of our music comes from. And if you ever want, we haven't done this yet. We are planning on starting an email list. And that email list will, we're going to basically send one email out a month, if that. Don't worry, we won't spam you. I hate spammers myself. But what we're going to do is, with people that are part of our email list, we're going to send out links to like our music that we can give away for free that we have rights to do that for, which is our AI music. We'll give out links for that. We have forms for like packing lists and stuff that I've put in the community in the past in the community tab, but we'll put that basically all the stuff we give out for free and links to things that we talk about, we'll put in there. But anyway, I guess that's it. Anything else? No. So, as I said, last Sunday of every month is when we do this. And if you have any questions, send them to us. Until then, we'll either see you, and make sure you say hi to us if you see us on a Royal Caribbean ship. We've had people pointing at us saying, that's them, and not come up and actually talk to us. So we don't bite. Come up and say hi, and we'll say hi back.
Sometimes.
One time there was a guy, we were on an elevator with this guy, and he's like talking to us like he knows us. And we get off the elevator and we're like, goodbye. And because he was mentioning things that he would only know if he actually knew us. And we get off the elevator. I said to Kat, who's that? And she's like, I thought you knew who he was. So yeah, say hi. Make sure you tell us that you watch our videos. And don't forget those travel journals. The first person on every cruise that says, hi, traveler, or hey, traveler, or something like that, we give one of our books to. We had one on the last cruise, and she never collected it. But we stopped. Yeah, snooze you lose. We had a meetup time and never collected it. But anyhow, see you on the ocean or online in a month.